Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey really digging into the essence of a truly transformative historical figure. Someone whose leadership didn't just shape an era, but continues to resonate really deeply. We are talking about Hazrat Umar Farooq. He's famously described in our sources as someone who uh, lit lamps of guidance in cities of disbelief and misguidance.
Powerful imagery.
Right, and even crushed the pride of emperors.
Mm.
So our mission today is to take this stack of historical accounts, these biographical bits about him, and sort of distill the most crucial insights.
Get to the core of his character, his governance.
Exactly. His character, how he governed, his legacy. Think of it like a concentrated shot of knowledge, giving you hopefully a powerful understanding of why he's still so significant. Oh, and just a quick note, you'll hear us mention Prophet Muhammad and other revered figures, and following our sources, we'll often say PBUH afterwards. That stands for peace be upon him. It's a traditional sign of respect.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, isn't just the history, the events themselves, but the principles behind them. That personal discipline that seemed to underpin his entire life. We'll explore how his own, remarkable transformation shaped his leadership. There are lessons there that go way beyond his own time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's start right at the beginning. Let's look at the man himself. Hazrat Umar Farooq. He was born in 583 CE. That's 13 years after the AML fail, the year of the elephant.
Hmm.
And before Islam, he wasn't just anybody. He was a pretty significant figure in the Quraysh aristocracy, even handled diplomatic stuff for the Meccan polytheists in battles.
Right, so he was already established, known, which
Yeah.
makes his conversion even more impactful.
Exactly. And that moment,
Yeah.
he really changed everything. He embraced Islam. He was the 40th man to do so,
Yeah.
apparently after a prayer by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This happened in the 6th year of prophethood. And the impact, it sounds like it was immediate, massive.
Oh, absolutely.
Our sources talk about this palpable wave of joy among Muslims. Meanwhile, the polytheists, they were reportedly forced to admit their power had been halved.
Wow.
That sounds like such a huge shift, doesn't it? How could one person's conversion have that kind of seismic impact almost overnight? What did that signal?
Well, it wasn't just, a personal spiritual thing for him, though it was that too. It was genuinely a strategic game changer for the early Muslim community. Think about it. Umar's standing, his courage, his influence among the Quraysh,
Hmm.
him switching sides, essentially immediately boosted the Muslims' position, their morale.
Okay, so it wasn't just adding one more follower.
Not at all. It was gaining a really formidable leader. And for the opposition, yeah, it signaled a serious weakening of their own ranks. His personal change directly fueled this wider societal shift.
He certainly made waves. He was known by his kunyat, Abu Hafs, and his famous title, his laqab, was Farooq Azam.
The great distinguisher?
Exactly. That title alone tells you a lot, doesn't it? Physically, the sources describe him as tall, heavy build, white complexion, with a thick and curly beard. So we've seen his public impact, but what really underpinned all that was his deep personal character. Let's maybe dig into his zuhad o taqwa, his asceticism and piety, because that seems truly remarkable and really shaped his leadership style.
It absolutely did. And it wasn't just like personal devotion kept private. It was fundamental to how he led. It showed his detachment from worldly things.
So how did that actually play out day to day?
Well, this profound personal austerity, it wasn't just piety for piety's sake. You could almost see it as a strategic leadership tool.
How so?
By living so simply himself, he built this incredible trust. He showed that power, even immense power, could be used for service, not for, enriching yourself, especially for a ruler whose empire was expanding so rapidly. That kind of personal example sent a really powerful message.
So what does that look like? Sleeping on a mat.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes sleeping on a mat on the ground or even just under a tree. And there's this one detail that always sticks with me. He apparently once gave a sermon, like a major public address, wearing a sheet that had 12 patches sewn onto it.
12 badges. Wow. It's almost hard to picture that kind of simplicity today, especially in a leader, isn't it? What message do you think that specific detail sent?
I mean, it screams authenticity, doesn't it? That he wasn't above the people he led, that he lived like them, or even more simply, it counters any idea of extravagance or distance.
It really does speak volumes. It's one thing to read about humility, but there's this one story about Umar that just brings it home. Something really unexpected for, the caliph. He was apparently seen carrying a water skin on his shoulder one time. Like,
Yeah.
doing manual labor.
Yeah.
Why would someone in his position do that?
Yeah, that's a great one. And it was very deliberate. It wasn't just a random act. Someone apparently pointed out, like, this isn't really fitting for the emir, the leader. And Umar explained why he did it. He said he felt this wave of pride creeping into his heart because, all these important delegations were visiting him constantly as the emir.
Ah, the pressures of power.
Exactly. So he deliberately picked up that water skin to, in his words, crush this wave, to humble himself intentionally.
Wow.
And then, to top it off, he apparently went and used that water to fill vessels for an Ansari Sahabiya, a female companion from Medina, just reinforcing that commitment to service.
That's incredible. A conscious, active effort to fight pride and stay humble, even with all that power. It's like a blueprint for ethical leadership.
Absolutely. And his piety went deep in other ways, too.
Like asking children to pray for him.
Yeah, asking children in Medina to pray for his forgiveness, believing their prayers were pure. His tongue was supposedly always uttering Allah Akbar, God is the greatest. And later in life, he even started observing continuous fasting. It shows this constant striving for closeness to God.
And this deep personal foundation, it flowed directly into his public life, didn't it? Especially his approach to justice and accountability when he became caliph. That was in 13 Hijri, and he ruled for, about 10 and a half years?
10 years and 6 months, yeah.
And his application of justice was famously strict, unyielding. There's that story about the fat camel.
Yes, the camel. It's a classic example.
He saw this particularly healthy-looking camel up for sale in the market, right? And finds out it belongs to his own son.
Exactly. And this incident, it perfectly highlights his whole no favoritism principle. It was central to his idea of justice. So his son explains, well, Dad, the camel grazed in the state pastures, which is why it was so plump and valuable.
Oh.
Right? And Umar, without missing a beat, immediately ordered his son, sell the camel, keep only the standard price for a regular camel.
And the extra profit.
Deposit it straight into the state treasury, the Beit al-Mal. No exceptions, not even for family.
That sends a message, doesn't it? It wasn't just about one camel. It set this incredibly powerful precedent for everyone. Fairness above all else.
Precisely. And he backed this up with systems, too.
You mean the inventory thing?
Yeah, his practice of recording the assets of people he appointed as governors meticulously.
How did that work?
It was pretty clever, actually, and remarkably effective for preventing corruption, especially as the administration was growing so fast. Basically, if these officials later turned up with, excess assets, more wealth than they started with.
Things they couldn't really explain?
Exactly. If they couldn't provide a proper explanation for where it came from, he'd order those excess assets straight into the Beitul Mal.
Of serious accountability.
It is. And he summed it up with that powerful quote of his. People remain on the right path as long as their leaders and chiefs remain on the right path.
Leadership by example.
Totally. It's this profound insight. Accountability starts right at the very top, and that's what builds trust and integrity all the way down.
And speaking of priorities, prayer was absolutely central for him.
Oh, absolutely paramount.
He sent out this decree, didn't he, to all his governors, basically saying that prayer is the most important among all your duties.
Yeah. Which raises an interesting question, right? How did he see prayer being linked to, good governance, to integrity in public office?
Did he explain that link?
He did. He followed it up with this really powerful statement. He who guards and perseveres in prayer has protected his religion, and he who wastes it will waste other matters too.
So personal discipline in faith translates to discipline in worldly affairs.
That seems to be exactly it. He saw this deep connection between your personal, internal state, your discipline, and the order and well-being of society. Internal rectitude leads to external stability, in his view.
It's a consistent philosophy running through everything. But his life, despite being dedicated to these high principles, it ended very violently.
Tragically, yes. He was assassinated.
During the Fajr prayer, the dawn prayer, on 26th Zulharva, by Abu Lulukhiruz, described as a Zoroastrian slave, he was attacked, severely wounded.
But what's just incredible even then is his resilience, his devotion. Even though he was gravely injured, his first thought was the prayer. He ordered Hazrat Abdul al-Rahman bin Auf, peace be upon him, to lead the congregation.
He did, even in that state.
Yes. And later, apparently he regained consciousness for a bit, held his son's hand, performed wudu, the ritual washing, and then prayed Fajr himself.
Unbelievable commitment, right to the end.
It's a powerful testament to his faith, his character.
He passed away a few days after the attack. His funeral prayer was led by Hazrat Suhaib, peace be upon him, And he was buried on the 1st of Muharram, 24 Hijri, right beside Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Hazrat Siddiq Akbar, peace be upon him. He was 63 when he was martyred.
And his influence didn't end there, of course. He left a significant scholarly legacy, too. Something like 537 ahadith, sayings or traditions are attributed to him. The sources really capture his impact, calling him the one who has moved and motivated the heart and mind of people towards righteousness and virtuous deeds. He didn't just build an empire on maps. He tried to build, a moral compass.
So after this deep dive, try to pull it all together.
Yeah.
What does it all mean for us? We've looked at these extraordinary qualities. His dramatic conversion, that unwavering commitment to justice, to humility, his really profound personal piety,
Yeah.
his leadership. It clearly wasn't just about expansion or power in the usual sense. It seems like it was a kind of blueprint for ethical governance,
Yeah.
built not just on might, but on moral conviction and this incredible level of accountability.
Right.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. How does a leader's really deep personal discipline, their willingness to humble themselves even, as we saw, against their own family, how does that lay the groundwork for building lasting public trust, for creating a society that feels genuinely just? It's a question that I think still resonates powerfully today, far beyond these historical accounts.
It certainly does. Something definitely worth reflecting on those principles and how they might apply or maybe should apply in all sorts of contexts today. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on this deep dive.